I'm delighted to welcome Liv Torc to the stage, just to remind you about her work. She's been exploring the parallels between the experiences of women during the pandemic and those of their grandmothers and great-grandmothers, this idea of lineage, of heritage, of what we pass on and what we can learn. And Liv is joined tonight by the amazing Layla Shayushi for a performance that's going to include song, film and poetry. And the film captures some haiku and photographs of local women's stories. So, Liv, up to the stage.
And I just want to say it's been amazing to watch Shagufta and Fiona's sets. I'm very moved. I've just got to come out of one emotional state into another. So I'm going to do an introductory poem, which is a bit about me in a kind of meta way before I start my commission-y sort of focus, which is because I wrote this on the way back from doing one of the workshops. And as a kind of female artist, I'm a mother, I've got 2 kids, and it's so challenging to be able to do this work and still be a mother and do that work. And I don't have an answer to that. And sometimes I think the sacrifices that you make just for a few poems. So this is an opening poem. There is a swear word, and I've been wondering whether to put it in or take it out. Put it in. I would never have used to have cared about this stuff. Can you cope with it? After the last set, you can cope. I'm still like this. Oh my. But yeah, women are awesome. Okay, so I have brought you my poems. In this plastic carrier bag, in this battered flight case, screwed up in my pockets through the rain. These stupid poems. I have brought them to you, you who I don't know, have never met, probably wouldn't even like. I have brought you these poems through the kind of weather that spits and dices paper, flicks the trees like cocktail sticks, mangles breath, down gridlock motorways and late night road closures, fog so thick I couldn't see, tree from tower block, white line from death. I have dragged them in red boots and curly wigs and stripy tights through floods and black ice and the glare of a million headlights, tucked them inside late night walks in cities that have made me feel invisible, invincible, alone. I have brought you these poems with a sprained ankle and inflamed coccyx, a broken colon, through cannulas and cakes, after parties and early dawns, these fucking poems. I have brought them here to you when thin and fat and tight and loose, through years of abstinence, chattering teeth, hypertension, childbirth with a baby, 2 babies, toddlers, tantrums with public boobs and private boobs, expressing milk in the wings at the back of the stage, hanging off the stage in wellies, in mud, up to my ankles, on my knees. Hefted them through the centre of the mother load, spun them in the spin cycle, hung them limply on a broken dryer. Through babysitters and sleepovers and breakfast clubs and school runs and so much guilt, I feel like cheap margarine on thick white bread. I've lost jobs over these poems. Good jobs and bad jobs. Found love over these poems, toyed with love like an angry kitten, fucked up love because of these poems. Buried my father inside of these poems. Met more friends than a mountain has perspective. These poems, these mad, strange, self-important, irreverent, stupid, tender, grinning rictus poems, these fucking poems. But my children needed me not to bring you these poems. I have brought you these poems. In spite of everything, at the expense of everyone, including myself. I have brought you these poems. All 47 of you. You're welcome. So, I mean, I lived in Exeter for about 12 years, and now I live in Frome in Somerset, but it's been amazing to come back and to work with women in Exeter. And I was really, really interested in looking at these parallels between the First and Second World War and COVID, and the COVID and the lockdown, and what we went through during those times. And this is a kind of a spoken word piece called Bombshells, and it's looking at these two sides of the city. May 4th. 1942, Exeter. The Luftwaffe chased the brown ribbon of the River Ex into the stomach of the city. 10,000 incendiary devices scold the sky, butter the streets like toast. Every bed in Herstory Hospital a waterfall of flames. The noise, red siren hot, struggles from its 70-minute time slot, creates a vacuum in history. One moment of terror jackknifing into another, leaving unexploded bombs in the cracks. A night so attention-seeking, it sucks the future screams from COVID streets. A city of silence, a city of noise. Two faces of a mirror 78 years thick. On one side, a nurse in World War II uniform runs in and out of wards, eyes stinging from smoke, hauling sick men out of beds as their sheets combust. Oh Lord, look after my kids and I'll do what I can here. Dragging trolleys down broiling halls, feet blistering, shoes on fire, leading scores of wounded soldiers out into the safety of a Guy Fawkes night. 100 lived because of her, only 9 died. Nurse Emily Nee arrives at the palace to collect the George's Cross for bravery. Told the papers she felt too fat to lead the parade, despite all the lives she saved. Women have always worked, right? Before the wars, before the vote, it's a myth that it took a nation of absent men to forge our gunmetal. We were farmers and dressmakers and chambermaids and small business owners and nurses and weavers going back thousands and thousands of years. These big textbook mega battles didn't teach us how to break a sweat. They taught us how to matter more to the machine of war. Munitions workers, ambulance drivers, engineers, mechanics, pilots, leaders. Clara Andrew, first wave feminist, suffragette, born 1862, saved Belgian refugees in World War I here in Exeter. And I picture her like Katharine Hepburn, fast-talking gumption girl, sweeping red tape off oak desks, fighting back the baby farmers, igniting the adoption juggernaut, and finding safe home for 6,000 children. She worked until 12 hours before her death and said, "If you have done this work, you can't give it up until you die." Now, a century on, I sit on the other side of the mirror with the women of these rebuilt ruins. We gather in the library in St. Thomas, where before the virus hit, mums with toddlers used to come to sing. Those groups have scattered now. Networks untangled, a village divided, but there is a baby here at least, and that makes us smile. The women tell me stories of their grandmothers working as clippies on the buses, widows bringing up 6 children, entertaining soldiers for their suppers, escaping arranged marriages. And way back before that, we talk about the first and last witches hung from the city walls. Temperance Lloyd, Susanna Edwards, Mary Trembles and Alice Moland, the last to die in 1685. It's important to keep all their names alive and remember how easily the rope of history swings back towards the patriarchy. I talk to women who, when lockdown struck, gave up their careers, their voices, their friends to become housewives again. Homeschoolers and full-time mothers, their jobs too small, too caring, too unessential. And now as I walk these once scorched streets past the houses with blown out windows from the uncovered World War II bomb of 2021, a chilling reminder that the past can hiccup violently. A century ago, the people in this city wore masks on their noses, kept the windows open, didn't let people kiss their babies. Pandemics are nothing new to our grandmothers, for COVID too has taught us that our dreams are still as fragile as our smallest child. And progress can be just as quickly reeled back in, whether in silence or in din. There are still deep cracks that women fall within. I look out at the city waking up after its latest blitz, shell-shocked, anxious, the women lonelier than I have ever seen them. Oh Lord, look after our kids, and we'll do what we can here. I want to invite Leia. This is the wonderful Leia. So we've been working. This is the first time I've ever written a song, and she's really kindly come on board to make it a song. So we're going to have a little film here as well. So this begins with some of the photographs of some of the grandmothers of the women that I met in St. Thomas, and we talked a lot about what our grandmothers would tell us, what advice they would give us. So we've been channeling a lot, okay? This isn't historically accurate, but it is. It's in our guts and our bones and what we feel that they would tell us. So we're going to start, and I'm going to read them because it will be a bit small, but you can play the video. You gave me your name, a memory sketch of a life I could have lived. Wherever you are, don't overthink it. There's no time to mess around, look after yourself. Choices for women, 13 seasons is too young. Choose your own lover. Bearing heartache with a smile, gliding through life's maze, be strong, go bravely. Grow roots in the ground, be as sturdy as a tree, keep blossoming fruits. Shoulders back now, dear, open that door and march in, no such word as can't. Daughter of daughters, who made sails from our bones. The earth may be different now, you all live in your phones. But Cassiopeia, Andromeda, Orion drawing his bow, fires justice across the darkness in a sky we both know. And I'm walking beside you now, as you reclaim each night. Your keys are so sharp and my girdle's so tight, but our faces are lit by the same eerie light.
As she travels in masks made of shadows, and watches her daughters swim time twisting waters, and oh, 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 you have more future than you'll ever know.
As we strive to have more than our mothers before, without forsaking their courage, their salt or their grace, their battles carved deep in the works of our face. Our eyes never downcast, despite skies kissed with bomb blasts. You survived months of homeschool to a backdrop of pandemic podcasts.
No, oh, oh, you have more resilience than you'll ever know. For the things that we fought for seem fragile like glass. If you need us to help, just look in the cracks of the mirror and ask.
We are women of moxie, gumption and grit. Our babies ride high on the charge of our hips. We fought for democracy, starved behind bars, worked as wartime mechanics, sweated oil under your stars. But we still died in our millions when influenza took hold. For you learn in the end, it's revolution in action, just to grow old.
It's revolution in action, just to grow old. And oh, 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 in time you'll be wise enough to know that each new wave is born from flow. For when there's children to nurture, the unfinished business of women will always burn slow.
So hold the line, daughter, but stick out your toe.
And oh, 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 forever backwards and forwards and upwards we go. And it might might seem a little too slow. But oh, 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 forever forwards we go. So hold the line, daughter, but stick out your toe. You have much more power than you'll ever know.
In the rubble of bombshells, the bones of our grandmothers shine like the snow. So hold the line, daughter, but stick out your toe. Let's give the stars a bloody good show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Liv Torc. Thanks, guys.